Hello everyone, and welcome back to Dirty Soap Company. We're going to do one of our awesome soap making videos with you today. Today the soap that we're going to be making is Manuka Honey, regular honey, and coconut milk. And basically it's going to be really simple. I'll get you through everything fairly quick. The main ideal is for you to learn something if you are interested in making soap. Hopefully I have some tidbits and things in here that can help you along your journey. As I always start our videos out, letting you know, we don't make any claims that our soap heals or that it cures any ailments or that it relieves this or that. So there are no medical claims being made on our soap. Basically, I will go through and tell you what a few of the products do, but that is not saying that our soap will do that for you. It's just telling you the product that I'm putting in, some of the benefits of it. So today for our soap, and I don't use music when I'm making because I like to converse with you, perhaps give you something beneficial. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So right here I have my coconut oil and my olive oil already pre-measured out in here. I'm gonna go ahead and get my sodium in there. I've got my sodium right here also pre-measured out so that I can get it in there. This right here is actually a double batch. So I'm gonna end up separating part of it out. And by double batch, I mean that it will make 2 batches. I'm a scraper kind of girl. I normally get it all out. And this is my sodium. Okay. So let's talk about Manuka honey for a minute. So Manuka honey, it actually comes from New Zealand. And because it's, I'm gonna sit that in there because it has sodium on it. So Manuka honey, it comes from New Zealand, and it's kind of almost just like regular honey, but in New Zealand, there's a tree, a Manuka tree. And that Manuka tree produces some kind of special honey, and it is thought to have special properties. So back in the day, they used like all parts of the tree. They would break the tree down, use the bark, use this, grind it up into powders and mix it with things. They used it to like help reduce inflammation, to treat wounds and burns, and soothe digestive upsets like diarrhea and stuff like that. So basically they would like ground it or grind it into a powder, make salves and things of the sort. This blender right here, I paid $100 and something for this blender, but it's 2 pieces. I will not buy another blender that separates. This is like my 3rd blender that I have that separates the 2 pieces, and always something, regardless of how much I put into it, something on it always breaks. So the little band, even though this whole thing is like stainless steel, they have a hard rubber clasp thing right here and it broke, so I put tape around it. But when I invest in another one, I'm gonna make sure it's all one piece stick blender, so that I don't have to worry about that. Okay, back to Manuka honey. And I'm actually gonna blend, so I'm not gonna talk right now. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend for a minute. I'm blending my coconut oil, my olive oil, and my sodium together, and then I'll continue to tell you about the Manuka honey. You're probably not gonna get to see all the blending part because it's so noisy. I'm gonna block that part out of the video. Okay, I'm back, and I have actually blended. I didn't blend it much. I let it stay really soupy because I do wanna separate it. And I make this batch a lot, so I know exactly how much is in here, and I know how much it takes to separate it in half. So we're just gonna make 1 batch right now. I am going to take this and separate it, and we'll set the other batch aside for later. Let's watch my measurements here. Okay, we're there. Okay, so basically I'm just going to take the rest of this Let's scoop it back into the container. And sit that aside so that it's not bothering us. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back in here. Wipe this off because it has the sodium on it. And I'm going to wipe my hands as well. Okay, so like I say, the Manuka honey was used to reduce inflammation, treat wounds and burns, and also soothe digestive upsets like diarrhea and things like that. Now, Manuka honey is different because it contains something called methylglyoxal. And they normally abbreviate that with the letters MgO. And the MgO shows actually kind of like the concentration of it. Some Manuka honeys are stronger than others, so you have to look at the numbers of the MgO on it. And what MgO does is it restricts bacterial growth, and it can help to reduce inflammation. It has a pH of 5 to 4.5. So it does kind of, I try to keep all my soaps between 7.5 as far as my pH. There are different soaps like that I make that sometimes I do take a tad bit below the 7, but for the most part, majority of my soaps are pH balanced around 7 to 7.5. So because this is a 5 to 4.5 to 5 pH, it's probably gonna keep me right up around the 7 range with my pH. Now, what MgO does is it increases oxygen to the wounded part of your skin to reduce inflammation. It thus has the skin, it increases the structure for new tissue growth. So again, what the MgO does is it restricts bacterial growth, it sends oxygen to your skin, the wounded skin that is, and it helps increase the structure for new tissue. And as we all know, new tissue growth comes from new stem cells developing. But you can do your research and find out even more benefits of Manuka honey. But Manuka honey is really good, has a lot of properties to it. So what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna save that until we're blended pretty well. This right here is our coconut milk. And with the coconut milk has high levels of vitamin C. It helps maintain the elasticity of the skin. And it's also rich in copper. Because it's rich in copper, it helps minimize sagging skin, age spots. And FYI for you, coconut milk is not really milk at all. So when I lived in Hawaii, I had a coconut tree. That was one of the 6 fruit trees that I had in my yard. And when we would take the young coconuts off, they would have like this real clear fluid in it that is called like coconut water. However, as the coconut matures, then the coconut water becomes cloudy because it mixes with the meat inside the coconut. And that is where coconut milk is found. Coconut milk normally comes out of mature coconuts, but it's not actual real milk at all. Okay, so we're gonna blend this a little bit. After I blend it, I'll come back to you. We're gonna add our coconut milk, but we're actually gonna add it off to the side, and we're gonna add our honey. So give me just a second, let me blend some. Matter of fact, let me pour some of this off before I blend, because we want to do 2 different colors. We want it to be apparent that it has milk in it. So we just pour a little bit of that off. Okay, and I'm gonna blend. Okay, so I'm back, and I kind of have this about the thickness that I want it to be. I don't want it too thick because I want the milk to actually be able to melt with, mix with this. As you can see, it's actually sticking to the stick. I got a few drips along there, but I got it where it's sticking. So that's about the thickness you want that to be. It's not like running off where you can see the silver on the stick. So we're gonna take that and set that aside. And we're gonna go ahead and work on our milk. So we have this little bit that we started out in the beginning and put aside. We're gonna put our milk in there. And we are going to blend. So normally when you're blending, you go light to dark. The honey's going to be darker than this, so we don't want to put the white in there. I'm probably going to stop in between the two of them and rinse my stick. Okay, let's go ahead and get this. The milk causes it causes it to like thicken up really quick. So I'm turning my stick down on low, and I'm just going to blend for a second, and I'll be right back. Okay, thank you. So I'm back, and I actually literally only blended like 2 minutes, okay? Because you don't want it to be too thick. You want to kind of leave them about the same consistency. When you're pouring colors, you want them to be the same consistency. You cannot have one thicker than the other, because then when it comes out, your soap has streaks in it. So you want them to be about the same consistency. And if you look at this right here, I still have drips, but it is sticking to my stick. So right now they're about the same consistency. The consistency is going to change just a tad bit when I put my honey in here, and then they should be totally equal. So I'm going to actually stop in a second and transition and rinse my stick and return. I don't want to put the white in here. If this was just a light color that I was using, then I would go ahead and put it in there. But I don't want to put the white in my dark color, because it's going to change it and make it tan instead of the natural brown that it should be. So I'll be right back in a second. Okay, everyone, so I'm back, and I actually have a clean stick now. So I'm going to set my milk aside, and I'm going to grab my first batter back, and in this batter I'm actually going to pour my honey. So let's get that Manuka. I have Manuka honey in here, and I have a little bit of Big Island honey from Hawaii. I love honey. Honey is very good for you. Honey has a lot of properties for your skin, you know. And when you finish, the soap feels oh so good. So good. Okay, let's go ahead and get that blended. So this is really going to be kind of like a quick video, because making coconuts soap, making the honey coconut milk soap is fairly easy. It can also serve as a shampoo bar. It works really good as a shampoo bar. And shampoo bars are good for when you're traveling, because then you don't have to worry about liquid restrictions. So let me mix the honey in, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I have the honey mixed in. One thing about the honey, it never changes color when you're mixing it. You won't know what color you have until you unveil it when the soap is finished. So be careful with your honey. Sometimes I put too little, sometimes I put too much. I try to be consistent with my measuring on the honey. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think that temperature plays a role in it as well, and moisture in the air and all that, because sometimes I can use the exact same amount of honey and my batches come out a different color. So, okay, we have that. I'm gonna sit this right here inside the honey bowl. So we have both of our batches blended now. And like I said, this is going to be a very easy batch to make. Yeah, so let's bring our container over. And like I said, I use the small containers when I am making batches for video purposes. Normally I use a 25-pound container and make a large quantity of it. So this is what both of our things look like. This is our coconut milk. This is our Manuka honey and regular honey. So I'm just going to do something really, really simple. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour probably about a quarter of the honey batch. And I'm going to take my milk. So this is what we have. We have that quarter batch. And I'm just going to take my milk and kind of go like this right here. If you pour the milk close, it goes all the way to the bottom. If you hold it back, If you hold the container back, no, well, if you hold it back, the force of it causes the milk to go all the way to the bottom. If you hold it really close, it just kind of layers that top part of it right there. So I got that. And now I'm gonna go back in with my honey. So I did the milk like this right here. So what I'm gonna do with my honey is I'm gonna do my honey this way, and that's gonna kind of mix it up a little bit, yeah? And let me see if I can stop and actually show you. I don't know if you can see, but kind of like what it looks like. I'm trying. Yeah. But then I'm gonna go back in with my milk again. So I'm probably gonna alternate one more time after this, and that'll just be a tad bit on top for aesthetic reasons to make it look pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back in with my honey again. And right now, the top of it is almost completely the color of the honey. I poured it slow so that it didn't mix with the white. It just kind of layered it on top. And right now, I'm just going back through to make sure all the white is covered up. Yep, so sometimes making soap is a craft. You can give someone your recipe, tell them step by step how you do it, and theirs will still turn out different than yours. It depends on the amount of pressure, it depends on the blend time. There's a lot of variance incorporated into making soap, which makes each person's batter different than the next. So right now, the whole top of it is the color of the honey. And I'm gonna take this and I just wanna drizzle it. Don't want a whole lot. Oh my goodness, I'm dripping that on the table. Don't want a whole lot. I just wanna kind of drizzle it because I don't want the white to be overpowering. I just want it to kind of marbleize it a little bit. So let's see if we can get some on there. Yep, there we go. And I'm just kind of going back and forth with it and do a light drizzle on it. Okay. Don't want all of it on there. Clean my sides. And for the magic touch, a lot of people ask, how do you get the top of your honey to look like that? How do you get the top of your honey so to look like that? Well, this is the secret right here. You ready for the secret? Bubble wrap. And you just take the bubble wrap, place it on top. I like to take my hand and lightly touch so that all the bubbles go down into the soap. And there you have it. This is ready to sit and turn itself into soap. So there you have it, everyone. That was a quick, easy batch of my honey, my Manuka honey, my regular honey, and my coconut milk soap. It's gonna be very beautiful when it turns out. So kind of watch through tomorrow for the cutting of it. I'll do a video tomorrow on the cutting of this. But there you have it, it's very pretty. And you can actually see like the indenture of the bubble effect on there, which makes the honey soap look like a honeycomb. Okay. Thank you so much for watching our soap making videos. Remember, we do not make any medical claims as to different things that our soap do. It's all in just learning the craft and trying to produce a great soap. I did not use any fragrance oil in this soap because the honey makes its own scent. And you'll probably notice along the way, I do use fragrance oils in some of my soaps, but there are quite a few of them that I don't use fragrance oil. I don't use essential oil. I don't, I just let the soap make its own natural flavor. And to me, not flavor, I apologize, scent. And to me, that is part of what makes such a great soap. So thank you so much for watching our video. We'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Be sure to tune in tomorrow and watch our soap cutting video.